hi, Jacket fans, and welcome to the weekly Yellow Jacket Football Show. I'm Carl Gurgis with I'm a coach, Coach James Gage, and it's good to have you with us again. I know it was a track meet over at Beaumont the other night, and there's a lot of excitement that we'll see in a few moments. But if you like offense, you obviously love the game.
Well, Carl, I appreciate having me on again, and I want to start by saying I think you wore the wrong shirt this week. If they'd have won 20-19, I don't know if I'd have said anything. But,
I understand.
They lost a tough
Can I
game.
blame my wife? I mean, that's who I'm going to put the blame on anyway.
No, that was a good game to watch. There was a lot of good games on this weekend, and including ours. We played well the other night. We played a good United team. They were extremely athletic, and they executed at a high level the other night. And I told our kids, I said, that may be the best they can possibly play. And their coach is probably not saying that, but I thought they played their best game of the year so far against us. And, it was a 28-21 game going into the fourth quarter. Right. So it was back and forth. And we made a couple mistakes, and that kind of was the difference in the game. But it was a good teachable film for us, a lot of things that we can get corrected after watching the game film and get ready for our next one.
Well, you had 464 total offensive yards, 4 TDs. Vaughn, 133 yards. Deshaun Peterson, 2 TDs, 108 yards. Griffin, 1 TD. Riley Pavlis, 65 yards, 1 TD. If you like offense, you got to love the game.
Yeah, and, it was we just continue to preach to our offense. Let's continue to get better, and we felt like we did that again this week. And when you got 2 kids over 100 yards, another in the 90s, and you're spreading the ball all over the field, you're hard to defend. And so anytime you get 464 yards of offense, you had a good night. And so, but we had 1 fumble, and we got stopped on 4th and 1 one time, and that was kind of the dagger. And so those are the things that when you go back and you watch film, you just got to find a way to fix those mistakes and keep yourselves in the game.
Well, the Jackets dropped to 2-1 in district play or non-district play, and of course we'll have an off week this week before we get ready for district competition, and we'll cover all of that in a few moments. And I know you've got a lot of highlights, so we'll be back in a few moments to look at the Jacket highlights from last Friday night's game with Beaumont United. Well, Coach, let's jump right into the highlights from last Friday night's game, and I know you've got a lot of them to show fans.
All right, let's look at them. All right, so this was our offense's first possession of the game. Beaumont had gone down and scored, make it 7-0, and so we were able to respond pretty quickly here. That's Riley Pavlis, number 15, junior, with the long touchdown run. He actually starts on the defensive side of the ball for us, but he, we had somebody miss a practice, and then we had another one injured, so he jumped in and got to play a little bit of offense the other night. And maybe we need to get him on the field a little bit more. Yeah. He's got some speed, but a great job by Braden, obviously reading it right. And Beaumont's whole game plan was to try to take Deshaun out of the play. And so a lot of the time when we ran option the other night, it was a pull from our quarterback. But, a great job just taking what the defense gives you. And we had them outnumbered to the sideline. And, the rest is history. When you execute it perfect like that,
you can't draw that up any better.
No, that's exactly how it should look right there. So, obviously a great answer. That got the score to 7-7. So this was actually a 3rd and 9 in the third quarter. It was a 21-14 game, and they were running guys all the way across the field anytime we motioned, so we kind of false motioned them here and gave ourselves some good angles. Again, great job by Braden, reading it and pitching it, and that was Isaiah Vaughn. He's a junior, kind of had his best game he's had so far with 130 yards. But just a really good job executing. Again, anytime you can get to the pitch phase or the triple option, it's a pretty thing to watch. Great job blocking up front by our guys, and then again, great read, great pull, and then a great pitch. And you can't see it from this tight angle, but Ryan Garcia, little running back right there, number 22, gets out there and gets a good block on the safety, just enough to spring him free for the first down. So
as you said, you cannot write that up any better.
Nope, exactly. So that's what it looks like when we run it in practice, and that's the way it's supposed to look like in the game. So just a great job executing all around. So this was the very next play. Same play, just a different formation. Again, they were taking Deshaun out of the play, and then we've pitched it now twice, and so their adjustment was, hey, we're going to take the pitch guy out. And so Braden Griffin, our junior quarterback, he's doing a really good job operating, takes what the defense gives him. So Ryan Garcia works his way up the field, gets just enough of the safety to kind of spring him free to get down. We thought he was going to score, maybe a horse collar there, but they got him down on the 2, and we ended up scoring the very next play. So again, great job by our right tackle, Aiden Villalobos, sophomore right there, getting up to the next level and blocking the linebacker, which allowed Ryan then to get on the safety and get our quarterback down inside, like I said, the 2-yard line to where we were able to score the next play.
So the beauty of it is the read.
Right.
That's exactly what he did.
Right, and that's what, you know, he does. He's a good operator, and he takes what the defense gives him. If they're going to let Deshaun run the ball 20 times a game, he's going to read it right. If they're going to take Deshaun out, he's going to either pull it and run or pull it and pitch it. He's done a really good job through 3 games, really operating the offense. So this was late in the game. Well, I say late in the game. It was 42-21. We didn't know, if it was about 3 minutes ago, and we said, if we score, what do you do? Do you onside it? We don't know. And we get this big play from Deshaun, gets it down. We actually scored the very next play, and so at that point, it was a 2-score game with almost 3 minutes to go, and so we tried for the onside, and obviously we didn't recover it. But Deshaun, he's good for one of these a game. This is his big play for the game. They were trying to take him out of the game, and then eventually, we just kept hammering him home, and he found that big crease right there. But you just see once he gets out in the open field, he's like a running back. He has great vision, great feet, and then the acceleration right there. He gets barely shoestring tackled right there, else he may have scored. But, again, good execution up front by our offensive line. Braden reads it right. Number 44 runs up the field, so his read is to give it. Get a decent block out of the receiver down there, just gets enough of him to where we can get by him. But then you just see the athleticism from United. Deshaun doesn't get caught very often, and so for them to be able to catch him in the open field like that just kind of shows you some of the team speed they had. But, again, got us down to the 27-yard line. Very next play, we tossed it to him, and he got in the end zone for a touchdown. So, 71 yards on back-to-back plays is a pretty good drive. So, again, just a really good play by Deshaun.
Well, as we mentioned, we have an open date this weekend before jumping into district action next week with A-Leaf Taylor. Anything that we need to cover as far as the injuries or anything that you've got planned for this particular week?
Well, let's show. I think we got a couple highlights of the defense and a couple things that they're doing good over there. We got some things we got to get corrected over there, but as a whole, our defense is doing some good things. So I think we've got a couple highlights we can kind of zone in here and look at. All right, so this was third quarter, and their center had just gotten kicked out of the game for an illegal hit, and so we moved our senior, Mekhi Lowe, we moved him straight over the center and told him just to get after that backup, and so this was the first play, and you can see he just knocks the center straight back and then gets off the block and makes the play. So, Mekhi didn't play last year, so he came back out this year, and he thinks he's an offensive player, but again, this is about the third week in a row. He's done really good on the defensive line, and so he was actually our defensive player of the week this week. So, as long as we can get him in the backfield, we feel like we got a chance. But just a great job penetrating through and then making the play right there. All right, then there he is again. You see, we got a slant to the boundary called there, so our defensive line slanting to their left, and Mekhi just beats his guy with speed and then also with strength. So they try to get on, but he gets, we don't get to say that very often, but he gets skinny right there, and then he just uses his athleticism and gets his hands on that guy and gets him down to the ground.
Most of the action, too, that you saw, you had a lot of Yellow Jackets around the ball carrier. No matter who it was, who got the tackle, you had a lot of others around him.
Right, and that's what we talked to our kids about Monday. We based our program off of four core values, and that's discipline, attention to detail, toughness, and effort. And I told them right now, as a team, we're playing tough and we're playing with really good effort. I said, but we're not very disciplined and we're not paying attention to detail. And so I said, as coaches and players, those are the two things we got to fix. We got to cut out some of the penalties, and then we just got to cut out some of the bonehead mistakes we're making. And if we feel like we do that, then we're going to give ourselves a chance to win. So if we can do those four things really well next week, we feel like we got a chance to start 1-0 in district.
We got a 10-game schedule. And that's the nice thing about it. You can always improve over the following week, the preceding week.
Right.
So we look forward to that. As we mentioned, we do have an open week this weekend. What do you do during an open week, as a matter of fact?
You kind of self-reflect. We took a lot of time this weekend, watched film, and then we came back Monday. We actually gave the kids Monday afternoon off. We watched film with them during the period, and then we gave them off, and we watched film as a staff, try to get some things fixed. And then really for us this week, it's back to the basics. It's back to fundamentals. We hadn't even talked about A-Leaf Taylor yet. We've just been focusing on us and what can we do to get better. And so, for us, we got to get a couple guys healthy, but we've just got to continue to coach the little things up and get ourselves right before we start worrying about the other opponent. And so, we'll start focusing more on Taylor probably tomorrow and Friday, and then we'll give the kids the weekend off and then come back ready to play next Thursday. So a short week next week, but coming off a bye, you really don't realize, that 1 day shorter just because you got a little bit extra time.
Well, the game with Taylor is going to be at Crump Stadium over
sir.
in Houston before we get into the home games. Hope we have a good crowd there naturally, and we've had a pretty good following of the Yellow Jackets. Did you have a good crowd last week, as a matter of fact?
We did. Yeah, for being an hour and 50 minutes away, we did have a good crowd. And, it's funny because somebody asked me the other day, why, we played all 3 games at Crump last year against Hastings, Elsik, and Taylor. And if you look at our schedule again this year, we play all 3 at Hastings, Elsik, and Taylor. And so it was a realignment year, and that realignment, you draw a number, and the number I had and the system and the formula they use, it happened just to put us at Crump 3 times. So 8 out of our 10 games were either played here at home at Memorial or at Crump. So we played pretty well over there last year, and so we feel like, hey, let's go over there and do it again this year. So
well, you've got Taylor to come to start, and then of course you've got Stake Jesuit here at home to open the season here at Alvin. But first things first, the game with A-Leaf Taylor is going to be at Crump at 6:00 p.m. start.
Yeah,
time,
6
right?
o'clock Thursday. So that's one thing that they do is Thursday night games they try to start an hour earlier to get everyone back and get them back in class on Friday. So. It'll be a fun atmosphere. First district game, the intensity will be up. They've got a great quarterback, and they made the playoffs last year, so they've got some momentum coming back this year. And we're gonna have our hands full, but we feel like last week was a good test to kind of get us ready for that.
And I think too that the district just looks like, from looking at the games that the teams have played, it's a little bit closer knit, all of them. I know you got the Shadow Creeks out there,
right,
but at the same time, I think there's a lot of others that have that opportunity for playoffs this year.
Well, and if you look at our district as a whole, the quarterback position, it's loaded. Everybody, the kid from A-Leaf Taylor's going to Rice. Then you got the kid from Strake Jesuit who was like top in the state last year in passing. You got Coach Butler's son at Shadow Creek. You got the kid at Pearland whose dad's the offensive coordinator for the Texans. So just a really strong quarterback district. And so week in and week out, we know that if we're going to be successful, we got to find a way to kind of slow the quarterbacks down. And that's the challenge, but we look forward to it.
Well, A-Leaf Taylor, 6 o'clock. It's Thursday night in Houston, and we hope everyone will attend. And of course, we've got the game with Stake Jesuit the following weekend. But first things first, the Taylor Lions this coming Thursday evening, 6 o'clock, as Coach said, is our kickoff time in Houston. Coach, appreciate it very much. And for Coach James Gage, I'm Carl Gurgis. We'll see you next week with the Yellow Jacket Highlight Show.
Jacket pride never dies.